Hi everyone, my name is Awatie Wajihah Binti Samat, and I'm going to talk about the power of first impression. Let me begin with a question. Have you ever felt like someone formed an opinion about you without even hearing you speak? I have. On my first day at university, my roommate told me that I seemed unapproachable just because I wasn't smiling much. That surprised me because deep down, I was just nervous. I wasn't being unfriendly, I was just overwhelmed. That moment opened my eyes to how fast and strong first impressions can be. And since then, I started paying more attention to how we see and treat people, even when we barely know them. So today, I want to talk about how first impressions are formed, and more importantly, how they affect our daily interactions, even before any words are spoken. First impressions are formed very quickly, often without us even realizing it. In fact, psychological research shows that it takes just a few seconds to form an impression of someone. One famous study by Willis and Todorov in 2006 found that people make decisions about others in just 100 milliseconds, which is faster than a blink. That means, before we even have a chance to introduce ourselves, people are already making assumptions about who we are. Why does this happen? It's because our brains are wired to process information quickly, especially in social situations. We instantly notice things like someone's facial expressions, posture, eye contact, and even their tone of voice. From their simple cues, we begin to decide, is this person confident? Are they friendly? Can I trust them? The problem is, these judgments are often made automatically without us thinking, and the scary part, they're not always accurate. For example, someone who avoids eye contact might just be shy, but we might misinterpret that as being rude. That's why it's important to understand how easily these impressions form, so we don't jump to conclusions too quickly. Now that we know how first impressions are made, let's look at how they actually affect our lives. First impressions can strongly influence our relationships and opportunities. Let's start with professional settings. When we go for a job interview, for example, we often think that our resume or experience will speak for us. But in reality, the way we dress, walk, shake hands, and even make eye contact in the first few minutes can leave a lasting impression on the interviewer. Sometimes, this impression can be more influential than our actual qualifications. Even small things like how confident we sound or whether we smile can affect whether or not we get the job. The same thing happens in our social lives. We might choose to talk to someone or avoid them based entirely on their appearance or body language, and we often do this without realizing we're doing it. Sometimes, these snap decisions are shaped by stereotypes or unconscious bias. For example, someone dressed casually might be seen as lazy, when in reality, they are one of the most hardworking people you will ever meet. Or we may avoid talking to someone because they look different and missing out on the chance to know a truly kind and interesting person. These moments matter because first impressions don't just stay in our heads, but they guide our actions, our choice, and the way we treat others. In conclusion, first impressions are incredibly powerful. They are formed in just a few seconds, and once they form, they can shape how we treat others and how others treat us. But just because they happen quickly doesn't mean we have to let them control us. By becoming more aware of how these impressions are made, we can take a step back, give people a fair chance, and maybe even challenge our own assumptions. In a world that moves fast, being thoughtful, even for a moment, can make all the difference. That's all from me. Thank you.